Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. The next episode of Red Valkyrie is about to start.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Red Valkyrie. I am your host, Shae Zombie, and I am here with the super amazingly talented Clint Stoker. How are you, sir?
Hello, great to be on your show again. Second time now.
Yes!
So I'm returning guest.
I am so super happy. I think the only other person that we've had on twice has been Preston. And it's because he just keeps churning out stuff with characters in green skin, and he makes me break out my green body paint every time because that's what he does.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I tell you. So thank you everyone who's in the chat. I see we got King Lee and we've got I Borrow Ideas. Love you guys. You guys are awesome. Apologies, it's a little bit of a shit cosplay today. Literally 5 minutes before I sent Clint the link, everything fell apart. So this is where we are. We're happy that we're this far. But we're good. Here. Hey, you know what? You're too kind. For real. It was much better like an hour ago before I put it on. But we're here because you have your new project called F.A.T.L. And I'm super excited. It isn't out yet, but you guys can get on the mailing list. Yeah. And I really just kind of want to show people the art, and I want you to just kind of get everybody super pumped for it because it's a really interesting looking book. So go ahead with what your pitch is.
Yeah. So F.A.T.L. So we're still in the early stages here of promotion because I'm wrapping up Downcast. So this is good because I'm like, I need to get better at this. But basically, F.A.T.L. is about a space exterminator that is deep in debt and down on his luck. He gets a distress call from a planet that has an invasion, and he's there to just do his job and meets a couple of local friends and gets into discovers some dark secrets. I'll go there. Still need to work on that pitch a little bit, but the cool thing about this is, so Charlie Snogans is the artist on this. You might recognize his work from Jawbreaker's God King. He did the Zashi backup story in Jawbreakers, and he's just a phenomenal artist. I'd say he's even, I don't know, he's like standing back and I'm like, I think he's my favorite artist in comics anywhere. Like I'm so lucky to be working with him. But he had this idea for the aesthetics and a lot of just the world building. He had no story, so we got together and I was like, I will make a story. So we got together. It's been a really great partnership so far, and I can't wait for this. This will launch as soon as Downcast is fulfilled. I might even be still shipping out boxes or something, but we'll do it right around the same time. So we're looking at probably a month, maybe a little bit less than a month if all goes well. This will be launching. So
this is exciting. So I'm going to post the link to the mailing list. Now, the mailing list says that it is for Downcast 2. Yeah, it's all the same mailing list.
Right.
This is how early we're in. That's why.
Right. Yeah. This is the first promotional stream I've been on for it. So I do need to make a new landing page. Apologies for that. But it's all the same mailing list. If you're already on the Downcast mailing list, you're set to go. And you'll know that I don't spam that mailing list. It's just for when I'm sending out the announcement for the new campaign. And we spoil the people on the mailing list. They always get a secret perk that is just special offer just for them. It's usually discounted. So
absolutely, and I can 100% confirm you do not spam at all. I got other people that are just, hey, I've got 5 other projects that are coming out. You should totally check them out. And I'm like, dude, I just wanted the one. I don't care about the others. Like,
right.
I'm happy for you, but dude, that's a lot of money that you're asking of me. I think I've gotten one email from you.
Yeah.
One time.
This is there's a lot of different methods, I guess, for publishing schedules and everything. Everyone's just starting their own stuff, but for me, I'm like, I don't want to be just pumping. I don't want to be like Marvel where I'm just pumping out as much as I can. So to me, it's like 2 books a year. You know, that's probably where we're gonna land. We'll see. But yeah, and then the trade-off is, you know, we put, this is seriously going to be one of the most beautiful comics, not even just indie comics, beautiful comics, period.
I mean, I'm already super stoked. When you showed me this in pencil, right? And I was like, I really like the girl. What color is her hair going to be? And you're like, probably blonde. I'm like, damn it. It's fine. I'm going to play her anyway. And it's, this already kind of had me sold. And then you start showing other bits, like the way that this cityscape kind of looks, where like these, you know, twists and turns in this road, and the way that these buildings are kind of bowed, and you've got things that look like kind of what you would recognize as a regular road or a regular car, except when you look closely, you realize they're hovering. None of them actually have tires. Like,
yeah, and this is all Charlie. His world building is phenomenal, and this is it's one of those things, like when you have an artist that's super into, you know, the project. This is something that he just, like I said, he was building the aesthetics already, and so for him, it's just endless. Everything has character. Like the each building, like this looks like a real city. There's nothing generic about any of it. And so far, he's like,
is very intentional.
Yeah, I think we're like 18 pages finished so far.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, and it's yeah, he's been loving it. So it's cool to see him enjoying it so much. He'll go back and he's like, I decided to add this to this page, and he's having so much fun with it. So
that's always so good.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, that's when you have passionate creators, that's when you get a really good product, because you're the writer. Okay. So you have kind of had your time with this. You've molded over, you've lived with it, you've decided kind of where you want things to go. Because usually when you have a writer who sits down and is like, I have a script and I'm ready for an artist, they've probably been working on that for the past like 5, 10, 15, 20 years. Like, yeah,
this is a little so we did, I don't know if you're familiar with Marvel Method, but this is definitely a Marvel Method kind of story. So the way that it worked is it's a little backward. So the artist comes up with the pages and the panels, and they're kind of going with the flow as far as the plot goes. Me and Charlie met together. We talked about outline. We have some landmarks, a loose plot, and then he's going for it with what feels good with the pacing. So he's definitely like the director. So then I go back after the fact, and I'm adding in dialogue, word balloons, and everything. So we sort of collaborated on the plot, and then I go back in afterward and add the words and everything. This is the traditional Marvel method. This is what Stan Lee invented. And it's been really, really fun for me because, like you say, usually I write full script. So it's different, but it's also really fun. And it does, because Charlie's just so talented, it really gives him the freedom. If he wants to, like, you know what, I'm going to add more to this action scene, he adds more. He adds a couple more pages. So this is loaded with action already in just the pages that we have. So,
oh, that's awesome. And the thing is so the fact that it goes the other way, the point I was about to make still stands, thankfully, because otherwise I'd look like a jackass. But when it comes to having creators, so this is probably then something that he's had in his head for a very long time of like, man, it'd be really cool to create a character that looked like this, or a world that was like that. And he just never had the opportunity to make it. And the two of you get together and are like, hey, this is kind of what I'm thinking. What do you think? And he's like, oh, I could use these characters that I've been wanting to draw forever. And now they come.
Absolutely. The cool, I don't know, all this has just felt, it's just felt so organic how it all came together. But Charlie was like, hey, I told him that I wanted to work with him. This was probably a year ago, more, something like that. And then he was like, hey, check out these pages. And he just had an idea of this guy that needed to get off this planet, and that's all he had. But he's like, here's some action scenes. I'm like, what is this? What's this for? It's like nothing. I just wanted to draw. He had like 2 or 3 pages of just this guy fighting these aliens. And I'm like, I will write this for you. So I went over like a few different ideas for the premise of the story. And it was I think the third one that to me, I was thinking about it at night and I was just like, that's it, epiphany. So I sent him a message and was like, what do you think about this? Space exterminator. And then I don't want to ruin any of some of the finer details, but yeah, I laid it out to him. He loved it. And so that's kind of how it started moving forward, So he did have to make changes to some of the pages. These are all of the pages really that he already had worked on in order for it all to be cohesive. But that's sort of how it started. It was just, here's a guy, his motivation is he's trying to get off this planet. I'm like, I think we can do a little bit better than that. We can flesh that out a little bit more. So lots of fun.
Well, and I gotta say, I'm really kind of digging this super retro, bright, kind of almost garish color palette, because I feel like when you're doing these really cool kind of space type comics and stuff, this is probably one of the best ways that you could do it, is giving. It's easy for things in space to be everything's metal, everything's dark, everything's kind of boring. So I love that you're like, oh yeah, we've got like hot pink and bright purple and this like really bright blue, and I love that. I think it makes it so much more interesting.
Yeah, I think of like the best sci-fi stuff, things feel lived in, and they have the character, it's and so he did such a good job with making it look like a fun lived in. It has lots of character, but I do think, like, you're right, I think it has also a nice look and feel that's cohesive, that it is very bright, it's very and he was trying to just really apply a lot of the stuff that he loved in 90s comics and the aesthetics. And then I'm trying to channel some kind of this noir detective feel for the story that I think really complements the right kind of mood and tone that we're going for. So it's fun, I think, and I've been calling this our blockbuster, and I really, like, no joke, I think this is going to be a home run. I think people are just going to love it.
Well, I mean, the pages that you've already got here are really interesting. Like the perspective that you have on this one off to the side, right, where everything is like he's rappelling down from one building. You see another building kind of off in the distance. And it's because everything is kind of sci-fi, you don't really have a good grasp of like what's up and what's down.
Yeah.
It's literally anything could be anywhere. Like you don't know. So you just see him like, hey, I'm hanging onto a rope on the side of, I'm assuming, a building, probably.
So it is, if you saw the sequence, it's actually it's this barge. It's a floating barge.
Of course it is.
That it's filled with these aliens. But yeah, that's there's lots of spacecrafts flying. In this particular city, we're calling it like the Monarch Planet. They've got a king and a queen, and they're very like structured with their belief system and how things run. And then they have this really gross outbreak of basically it's like a brain maggot. It turns people into these creatures, and so yeah, it's cool. I think a unique angle, fun angle on sci-fi, and yeah, there's just so much you can do with it too, with these characters.
Absolutely. And it seems like a labor of love based on what little bits of art and stuff I've seen. And I mean, I'm gonna be honest, your boy's giving Vinny a little bit of a run for his money with these booty shots.
Some booty, yeah. Charlie, he draws beautiful women. I mean, everything is gorgeous, but he draws very beautiful women. And so I know, like, for a lot of people, that's like big on their list for comics, and there's definitely beautiful women in it. Just great shots. I think I don't know. I keep wanting to be like, I want to show you more, but I can't show too much just yet. So I think this is a good start.
Oh, we'll be patient. It's fine, because I'm obviously going to have you on again, and I'm going to make sure my cosplay does not fall apart that time. But I'm absolutely having you on again once this is there, and we can go over tiers and we can go over stretch goals and stuff like that. We do have an offer from Skits. He says, do you want him to do a piece for your floating barge?
Nice. Well, we'll have to talk about it. I had him do a piece for the Secret History of Strat, which is the backup story in Downcast. So it's cool. He does really good work, and I know they're launching soon too, next week, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, they're launching on the 4th. So
excellent.
Not even a week away. It's crazy. You also had Zach Bradley who said he's going to do some fan art for this. I mean, how could you not? It makes me wish that I was more of an artist so I could actually do some. I'll do some hand turkeys for you, Clint. You know, I got you there.
Yeah.
I'll do some of those, but other than that, I'm just going to try and make a not shit cosplay and then maybe do some like pictures or something. I don't know, but this is a really cool looking book for sure.
Yeah.
We have a question from Zach. He says, do you have a page number in mind?
So we're we're very ambitious about it, but we're trying to keep that in check to start off with. So I think we're going to be promising, I think, a 52-page book. We think, as long as we hit certain goals, we want to make it longer. So we'll see. We also don't want to bite off more than we can chew, but Charlie's a professional. He's literally a professional artist. That's what he does day in, day out. So I think he's got a good idea of his workload and how to handle it. Yeah. But it'll at least be 52 pages.
That's awesome. You know, I just realized something staring at this because I've just been staring at this page for like weeks now. I realized one of the things that I love the most about this, and it's the way that you guys have really kind of captured, like your colorist has done a very good job in capturing that feel of when you have those like pearlescent finishes on cars and things like that, because there's no ink line, there's no hard line to tell you that this is where the color is changing. And so it really sells the idea of when you have those like slight bends in like the chassis or throughout the car, and it's got, this is going to show up as kind of a maroon, this one's going to show up as an orange, and it looks so fucking cool. And that's one of my favorite color combinations. Like, oh yeah, hands down, orange to pink to purple is one of my absolute favorite color combinations ever.
Nice. Yeah, I'm glad. I love it. That's so Charlie colored this too. He's the plan is not to have him color the whole book because
that would be a lot.
It's just a lot, and the black and whites are just beautiful. So he did these promotional pieces, and we're gonna kind of see how things go getting started. But the plan is to hire another colorist. But it's again one of those things where it's got to be someone that this is again gonna be a blockbuster. So yeah, we're going to go along those lines and have just fantastic colors.
I mean, I honestly think that you guys have a really, really good start to this project. Do you have any idea of kind of any special tiers or stretch goals that you're kind of tossing around? Maybe not solidified, but things that you're kind of thinking of?
So we're working through some of the specifics. Something I knew people would want, and once I started showing artwork, everyone was asking for it, and that's to do a black and white version of the book. I was thinking with no letters even, so it's just an art book, artist edition, so you can go through and just enjoy the inks. That would be sort of a separate thing altogether. And then, have the main story. We want to make it a graphic novel, so it's going to be square bound and something you can put on your shelf. So that's the goal with it. We're still working out some details, though. Something I don't know, it seems like people like trading cards. And for Downcast, I'm doing some that are sealed in wax packs, so you get like the it's like the 90s, so I could see doing something like that. I want to see how they turn out and how people receive them. But we're sort of we're going through a lot of different ideas and options for this. I was thinking about doing a box, but I think maybe that's probably too much. Maybe down the road we'll
do a patch.
A patch?
Yes.
I'll look into a patch. I know a lot of people do those.
That, oh my gosh, even if it was just like the F.A.T.L whatever. So I've got my jacket I'm working on, and I absolutely want something from this that I can put on there. A patch or a pin. Patches are obviously better and cooler and more permanent.
Nice.
But I mean, I think a patch could be really cool. I actually have a patch coming in of our channel logo that I got 15 inches wide. So it's gonna go on the. It's
wow.
Yeah, it's gonna be huge.
Full the jacket pant.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
nice.
It's gonna go right on the back. I got because I got a red bomber jacket for me and a blue one for Sci, and we're putting those on the back with our names, but then we're just gonna coat them in all of these kind of indie projects with patches and pins. I'll let you know when I get it. It's shipping now, so I'll let you know when I get it how they turn out, and then I can kind of kick over that company to you if it turns out well, which it absolutely better for what I just paid because I only wanted two.
Yeah, it gets better with volume, I'm sure.
It absolutely does, and obviously when you don't print them up 15 inches wide, because that's huge.
Yeah, patch. I know I've seen those in campaigns. They work well because you can ship them pretty easily with everything. So patches. Yeah, I'll put that on the list.
So we've got Skits wants everything in color. Fenrir says it looks very cool. Skits says he wants a puzzle with a few pieces missing. You are evil, Skits. Evil.
Very specific.
That is so terrible. No, absolutely not. If you give me a puzzle with a few pieces missing, I'm going to draw in those pieces and then cry. I'm going to remind the chat. So because this is a pre-launch, there isn't a whole lot for us to show. So if you have any questions, if you have anything that you kind of want to pick Clint's brain about ahead of time before he starts to get insanely busy and very difficult to get on streams, this is a great time to do it. Just throwing that out there.
It's true, yeah. It's the first week of launch. First 2.5 weeks are just insane. So yeah, it was a good day.
Well, I'm hoping that we get you on hopefully your first week when you launch again.
I'm sure we could arrange it. Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
I'll bribe you somehow. It'll be fine.
Yeah, we'll get Charlie on too. That would be great.
Yes, we'll get your crew. That'd be awesome. Yeah. Michael says all edge pieces missing, no easy mode. You guys are so brutal. Just make the puzzler in me cry. Oh my gosh. Oh, so sorry, I'm just in awe. It's really hard to
it's cool. Yeah, Charlie's, I gotta say, he's gotta be like my favorite artist. I just look through his stuff. He'll send me like sketches. They're just rough sketches, and they have so much life to them. I don't know how to describe it. Like, just looks like living people, I could have a conversation with, even when they're just sketches, a few lines. He's super talented. He can actually draw. He's ambidextrous. He can draw with both hands.
What the hell?
I know.
No,
it's crazy.
That's weird.
He's got a video. We got to show that off sometime. But yeah, he's got video of him doing it. It's really impressive.
That I can't even fathom that. I can barely write with both hands.
Drawing's hard.
That's like years of me training myself to write with both hands because I was paranoid as a kid I was going to break my right arm because all my friends did. So I was like, I'm obviously going to.
Yeah.
Oh, Zach has a good question. He says, you might have answered this, but how did you find Charlie?
Yeah, so the YouTube channel helped with that. I think if I'm remembering the series of events correctly, he watched a video, or he knew that I made videos on comics. He decided to start a Twitter account. He's rarely on Twitter. And then he posted a picture that he did. He tagged me into it, Ethan, John Malin, your boy Zach. No, he wasn't on Twitter. Yeah. But just a few people he knew had YouTube channels. And so I think I was probably the most hungry looking for artists. And so I immediately sent him a message and was like, hey, I want to do a book with you. This looks amazing. He didn't even say anything. He just posted the art and then tagged people. That was it. So that's how he got on my radar. And then we just kind of developed a relationship, email, phone calls, hangouts. Yeah, he lives over on the East Coast, and so but yeah, we talk all the time. So we kind of, it's been in the making for I don't know, several months. It feels like we're coming on a year now that we really were like, okay, we're gonna do this thing.
That's awesome.
So yeah, we've been working on it for a while.
I mean, this just looks so cool. Okay, so I know one question you're going to get asked. What does F.A.T.L stand for?
Yeah, that's a good question. So it's the name of his company, and his name is Flint. So it's Flint's Alien Termination and Logistics.
I like it. I like it. Oh, and it's I like how it's incorporated. So yeah. It's F.A.T.L Inc.
Yeah, we wanted to make it a very like so to me it's just interesting because usually in comics, especially like saving the world, that's like the Avengers level kind of thing. You know, you save the world, that's the biggest problem. And in here, saving the world is just a Tuesday for him. You know, it's and it's really just about paying the bills. Like that's more of the struggle for him. And so like this particular case is very difficult, and the stakes are a bit higher. But it was just kind of a fun play on, you know, what it's like to save the world with, you know, you're saving one every week. You know, what's the difference?
Right. No, that's really interesting. So these two girls that kind of you can see here are, you know, joyriding with him, kind of just,
yeah.
Unfortunately, this is his hand right here, just tagging along.
Yeah. So they're locals on the planet. In the front there, you have working name is Moxie, because that describes her personality. She's royalty on the planet. She's not very happy with that in her life, and she wants excitement. She likes to race her you know, speeders. And then she has a bodyguard assigned to her, and that's Kit. And Kit is the one that you're cosplaying as today. Yeah, so Kit she's tough, and she likes things the way that they are, but you know, she doesn't have any choice. So she's kind of got to go along with what's going on, and she needs to help and make sure that you know, she's doing her job, keeping her clients safe. And then you have Flint, who is there or Flynn, excuse me. He's there to, you know, do a job. He's there to get rid of this alien extermination. But yeah, so that's kind of how they meet and they get entangled. Again, I need to I got to get better on my pitching.
Don't worry. Look, we are here for you to shake out the cobwebs and get back into pitch mode.
Right.
And then when we have you on after you launch, it's going to be perfect.
Yeah, I've written out a few different ones, but I'm like, I gotta like hear them out loud too and see what sounds cool. So yeah, well, I'll be better next time I'm on. It'll be solid. I
have absolutely no doubt, and I just gotta say, I love the fact that you see this, and from this perspective, you don't necessarily know how like the emotion of the characters, right? You're like, oh, this could be really terrifying. This could be, maybe they think that he's a really bad guy and they're really worried about him or something, or maybe, you know, that's their friend and they're trying to save him. And then you see this and you go, oh no, they're just being assholes. This is great. Like, I love it because she's like, yeah, you think you're gonna come for a ride? Let's go for a ride. And her bodyguard's like, oh, you're terrible. This is awesome. Yeah. Like, I just love this because you see so much personality with this dynamic.
So yeah, and I don't know, it's just the details he puts in, the very specific details like this are just amazing. You look at a page, for example, he did this page he posted on Twitter that everyone was talking about, and it was like a sushi bar, and there were samurais fighting in it. But you could look in like the corner of the back of the sushi bar, and there's this woman just holding an umbrella that's broken, and she just has this look on her face. It has nothing to do with the rest of the fight, but you go through and you look and you just see these little, they're almost like Easter egg details of, you know, just emotion, or they just tell a story in just a face. So I would expect to see that all throughout the book. every single page. There's just these little moments that it just tells you so much about what's happening in the story, what those characters are thinking.
Absolutely. I think I just hammered on why I like this page so much. When my co-host is here, this is us. She would be the one driving, and I would be the one that has to like protect in the end.
Yeah.
So
so you're wearing the right costume. Yeah.
I am. It's why it resonates so well with her. I didn't know she was a bodyguard, but hey, I'm totally there.
Yep. She's there. Yeah, she's the and there's a fourth character that is easy to overlook. His name is Eldridge, and he's a robot. So he's actually in the larger image of this. And he kind of floats around and follows them. You can kind of see him up there speeding. Right there. That is Eldridge. He's basically like a receptionist or an assistant, for Flynn in his work. And so he's always there to help. He's a droid and just slightly off touch. He's not, you can tell he's just not human. Not quite there.
I love this. This is the thing that I was talking about on one of my other streams that I had recently, and they were talking about having kind of like an android-esque character, and I was like Claptrap. Like just a little bit off. Like exactly. You have a lot of good information, and I think you might have been dropped down the stairs one too many times.
right. There's mistakes in artificial intelligence, but it's like the personality. There's going to be this, it works good enough, but not quite. There's that one thing that's just a little off. So but Claptrap, that's a good example.
Well, and it kind of has that look like the endearing quality of you're going to be something that I'm going to love, and you're going to be a little dumb, and I'm going to be even more happy when you start doing things that's not right, but it's okay.
Yeah.
So Kyung actually had a question for you. He says, how do you like for writing for pages that are already drawn out? Personally, the Marvel way is going against the grain. For me, it's more challenging.
Yeah, it is challenging. For me, I like the challenge as a writer. I'm very, to me, I want to be a really great writer. And so I've tried to specifically give myself challenging scenarios. This isn't one that I decided on, but it made the most sense for the project for us to do this Marvel method. And so, yeah, it's definitely challenging, but I am really enjoying it actually. Because it is different, and I know that so many great comics have been done this way that I'm learning from the process as well. So yeah, challenging, but I love it, and to me, it's just it's challenging in a good way.
I wonder, and this is just coming from because you and I have talked a little bit, not a ton, but a little bit about writing, and I keep on standing in my own way when it comes to writing because I tell myself that I'm not inspired enough or whatever it is. There's always a reason. There's always a reason that I'm not writing, right?
Yeah.
And I wonder if, because for a lot of new writers, it's that blank page staring back at you just gets really overwhelming after a while. And you're like, oh, I'm going to write something that's going to be terrible. No one's going to like it. I almost wonder if this method might be good for people that are kind of hitting a weird writer's block because it's almost like getting I just picked this book up. It is a book of 3,000-ish prompts, and it literally is just a blind date, and you're like, oh, and it gives you a page, and it's just start a story about a blind date, start a story about high school hierarchy, main character has amnesia, stuff like that. It's almost like doing something like that, but it's doing that with pictures.
Right.
And so you get a little help.
Right. It's almost, I think part of the problem, especially with writer's block, is that you have too much freedom. I know that's counterintuitive to say for writing, because you usually are I'm an artist, I want all the freedom, but honestly, especially in comics, when you realize, okay, I've got to do a single issue and I've got 22 pages to do it. That's very restrictive, That is
insanely restrictive. Yes.
And the restriction is actually kind of freeing, because now you've already got rid of all these other ideas you could have gone, directions you could have gone. So when you have, when you've committed to a plot point, or you committed to a scene that you're going to do. You're adding more restrictions, and it kind of forces you. So even a deadline, like if you can really make a deadline that you're accountable to, that you've got to get it done by this date, or your friends are going to make fun of you or something, that restriction can actually help you be very creative and get past writer's block. So, and this is the same way, like that's page one on the left there on the screen. And, we're sort of establishing where he's at. We're establishing the mood. And I could think of several different ways, and I wrote out one treatment for how this story would start. And when I'm presented with this page, the mood needs to be kind of a downer, and so I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do the silly one liner. I'm not going to kind of start it out that way. I'm going to start this out like like a noir detective kind of scene, and that those restrictions actually give you a lot of just freedom to sort of move forward, because some of the decisions are just already made.
Yeah, that's very true. And this feel that this has kind of reminds me of like Cowboy Bebop, where like
I've heard it's really good. I've never seen it, but
oh, dude, I bet if you saw it, you would start being like, oh, it's a little bit similar.
Okay.
Because everything in Cowboy Bebop, like basically they're bounty hunters, and they're just living paycheck to paycheck. So they're just living like the next time they can get paid. And like every time they get anything worthwhile, anytime they get anything that's actually like, hey, this was a good payout, we can actually eat well for a little bit, something usually happens. Their ship will get damaged, something, they have to go and like repair it, and there goes all of their money, and they're right back where they started. But if you look at the bottom panel of this, where he just sat there, his feet are kicked up, he just looks kind of like, fuck it, just like dejected, spinning his gun, like, I don't even know what to do anymore. Like that is how almost every single episode of Cowboy Bebop starts. It's just like they're floating in their spaceship, they're just kind of like, oh, what are we doing now? What's the next one? Like, really hungry.
I've got to watch it now. But yeah, that totally I think that's the right kind of direction. It's just that it's it's people trying to make a living, and they live in space, but and then it's cool because you can see Eldridge there in that last panel, and it's Eldridge reminding him in a very inhuman way about all of the responsibilities and the debt and the problems that he has on his shoulder right now while he's trying to get in work, for his next job. So it's kind of like, shut up, you stupid robot. But
it's like when your mom calls and is like, well, I had told you. You're like, can you stop? Like, I understand I'm a huge failure. I don't need you to recount it all.
Right. And it's this alarm clock you just want to slam, in the morning, but he's always there reminding you of your faults and what's going on. So
I love him now. He's my favorite.
Yeah. He's a fun character. Eldridge is one that they're great, but Eldridge is a character that I'm like, this is going to be really fun, so different because he's a robot,
Well, it feels like you've got a really like fleshed out cast of characters for sure. Like it doesn't feel like anybody's wasted or there's anything that's just kind of thrown in there for shits and giggles. You know what I mean?
And that's why with this, it's like we talk about page count. It's like we're kind of ambitious with it because there's this big, cool story that we want to tell. We're very, I don't know. We'll see. It depends on how much the campaign makes. Charlie wants to make this book huge, but I'm like, let's make it like manageable still. So, we got to get some details figured out for sure, and we'll add some stretch goals that'll just add more pages. But even beyond that, it's like there's so much we could do to really do this story justice. It could be certainly ongoing. So.
Absolutely. And there's a lot of really cool things that I think that you could add, like stretch goals or tiers or whatever, that just would be so very unique to this campaign, because the art style, the characters, the expressions, the way that everything kind of has a feel to it, I think that it kind of is setting itself apart from everything else that's out there, and it really lends itself to giving you a lot of options and places that you could go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the cool thing is too, I'm like, well, we'll get through this first story arc, do the story that we really want to tell on this planet, and you can always go to another planet. Like that's kind of the joy. Like we could do that. So the part of the tough part about Indiegogo campaigns and doing comics this way is it's like I'm pretty sure that people are going to love this book, but you still need to go through the process and make sure it sells well and that it's well received. And then it's sort of like the green light, like, okay, we'll keep going. But yeah, the plan is I'd rather plan from the get-go, like we're going to do this story justice. So yeah, it'll be good. And as long as Charlie, he's so excited to do it. So
that really helps. Having two creators that are super passionate about getting it done is always very encouraging, especially for somebody like me who's looking at heavily backing this. Being able to go, well, I know that they're very dedicated, so the likelihood that this is going to come out and be very well done is very, very high. Yeah. Ideas wants to know, is there going to be a Clint sketch tier?
I could do that. I did that for Downcast. I was very happily surprised when people backed it, so that's great. And I've been working on my art, so I think it's getting better. Yeah, so I'll do more, but that's a good tier. I'm even thinking like people would want a Charlie sketch tier as well. I don't want to. He's drawing the book too, so it's like we got to figure out how many. We'd try to limit it. But we'll see. But that's a good idea. I really want to have like a simplified, nice tier structure, and I want a high tier for those people that really want to support the book big time. I want to give them just everything that they would want, all in one tier. So
well, and I think it'd probably be really good to have, so you've got your tiers kind of streamlined and everything, and then you can have add-ons. So if you do decide that you're going to do other patches, or you're going to do I don't know, like pins or something like that are not part of a stretch goal that everyone who is a physical backer is going to get, then you can start adding them as add-ons. I know some people have started doing mugs, which are kind of cool.
Oh yeah.
There's been a lot of creativity has come out recently. I know Justin Dutton, so we're launching him on the 18th on this channel, and he has a very, very exclusive. I think he's doing. I'm hoping he went up to 10 because I might have a chance of actually getting one. He's doing 12-inch Nightmare Bears from his comic, and they're these gigantic stuffed bears that have a bunch of other little bears on their back, and it's kind of terrifying, but it's super badass. And like, he's doing stuffies.
Creepy stuffed animals. I like that.
Yes. I was like, I'm obviously just going to work however many weekends I have to work to make that a thing for me, because I need that. Yeah. And so it's like little things like that. Like I guarantee you it would probably be a little pricey, but still you probably still get backers if you had somebody who came up with a plushie of your little Robo Buddy here.
An Eldritch plushie, huh? That would be really cool. Dude. I'm not even sure how. I don't even know how you'd go about it, but I know Ethan's making a plushie, so like if you know how to, like, I wouldn't even know how to start that process, but
we can talk about a couple of different possibilities and stuff, because I know some people, and we'll talk.
Okay.
Don't rule it out is what I'm saying.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm open to things. The thing is, like, I never know, like, when people obviously want something, then it's like, okay, well, we'll give it. I never thought like getting drawn into a book, it's not ever appealed to me, but that tier, when we do that, it always sells out really quickly. People like that. So
because you get to be immortalized. Like it's
true. Yeah.
I've only ever been drawn in to one book, and it wasn't even, it was a thank you from the person who was making it. And so randomly he was like, by the way, anyone look familiar? And I was like, is that in the background? And he was like, yeah, the girl with the gigantic arm tattoo. I was like, holy shit, you drew me into the background. He was like, yep. That's kind of epic. And then I started looking at Drawn In Tears, and I was like, ooh, I know why they're expensive, but I kind of want to be drawn in again.
Yeah, there can be some cool ones. Yeah, we just finished. We've got somebody in Downcast that wanted their kid drawn into the book, and so we're like, where are we gonna put this baby? So we found like just like this most chaotic scene in the whole book. We're like, yep, right in there. Like we're gonna put this child in here. Yeah, so it was fun. It turned out really good.
That's awesome, though. That is really cool.
Yeah.
So one more time for Leg Kick, who was a little late to the party.
Yeah.
What is F.A.T.L?
It stands for Flynn's Alien Termination and Logistics, and it's
incorporated.
Just incorporated. Yeah, it's his alien extermination company, and he goes from planet to planet trying to scrape by and make a living, essentially. So he finds this planet that has he's bitten off way more than he can chew. So yeah, it makes for a fun story.
Yeah, this is definitely very high on my priority list for sure. I've got you're killing me here because I got Skits that I'm like waiting on bated breath for, and then I've got Unstitched that I'm helping launch, and now this. I'm like, so much money. It's fine. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
I'm super stoked.
They come in waves. It seems like
they do.
Like it'll be a little while. Like I don't know. It's been there have been a few campaigns I've liked, but not so many. I remember probably about this time last year too. It was like there are seriously 5 campaigns that I have to have. Yep. And I want to be an early backer. I always try to be, but it can be tough sometimes.
Oh yeah, well, and I still have to back Battle Brick Road because I was like, but I really want it, but I need a little bit more money, and I just backed fucking Dan Frigga. I was like, can you guys stop? Like, space it out a little, okay? Because
take a little break. Yeah,
I dropped so much in the past little bit. All of the stimulus money and the overtime and everything that I got during all of this craziness, that's all gone. That's
right.
None of it has lasted because I was just like, I have to though. Just backed everything. So thank you for aiding in me.
Complicated. No problem. Yeah, Michael, I'm just like, I know for me, like sometimes you have to you pick and choose which ones you're going to back. For me, I'm like, the best way for us to just really be successful at this is to make one that is a must have. Everyone has to have it. And so yes. I think that is what we have here.
I would agree. Yes, and I agree with Kyung. Thankfully, there is in demand, usually, except for when I forget that something went in demand, and then I realize that I still don't have money when it's in demand, but now I really don't have time to wait, and it's hard to keep up on when everybody's in demand is going to end, so then I get paranoid, and I was just like, oh, it's fine, I'll just have ramen, just back it, it'll be fine. Ramen's fine. It's healthy, right?
I've done that. I'm like, I don't know. I look, any YouTube revenue I make, I just spend on comics. And so, but YouTube, this is a totally different topic, but like ever since January, it's been rough. They don't, I don't know if they do this to you, but they don't monetize my videos immediately. They say checking. So it's like, I missed the whole first initial like bump in views. It's like no monetization. And then they'll finally let it kick in, I'm like, really? So, you guys are killing me.
I don't have this problem yet because I'm not monetized yet.
That's a whole other, You'll get there. How many subscribers are you at?
Let me see. The last time I checked, we were at 815, but our watch hours are a little bit low. So if you are watching currently, thank you. I appreciate you. If you have not subbed, please subscribe. Share this out with everyone because I'm gonna be wholly honest with you. Aside from the fact that I absolutely love a lot of these comics and I back a lot of this stuff, all of this cosplay comes straight out my pocket too. So some stuff that looks like it's easy and small and simple. I'm telling you, it's not all as easy and small and simple as you might think. A lot of this is, handmade, takes a bit of time. and a lot of it fails, and so it looks shittier on camera than it did before I started. But it's a labor of love. This is something that I love doing. I love having amazing creators on. I love getting to share in this kind of excitement because I can't draw and I'm still working on writing. So being able to talk with creators who are doing what is kind of like my dream end goal, that's amazing for me. That's something that is so much fun.
Absolutely.
So yeah, if you haven't subbed, please sub. I will love you forever.
You're getting so close too. Like
I know
our view hour, you'll get there. Yeah.
Well, and so here's the thing: is I'm still going to be flying solo until the fall, and I would love by the time Sai gets back to be like, by the way, while you were gone gallivanting around in foreign lands, I got us monetized. So
what it gives, yeah.
While you were dealing with your medical stuff, whatever. Timothy did have a question. So it says, is that the female character that a bunch of SJWs went after for her looks?
Not yet. I think I know which one you're talking about. Maybe it was Rob Arnold's book, because I know he got a ton. It was started on Reddit and it spilled over into Twitter, and they didn't like her armor or something. These are some of the first pictures from F.A.T.L coming out, so we haven't drawn the haters yet, but they seem to come no matter what. So
that's how this works every time, I swear.
Yeah.
My favorite is when they get super pissy about girls, like the one that I'm cosplaying, and they're like, no girl looks like that. And I'm like, hi, I'm a 6'1" female that's naturally a blonde. And I mean, granted, I'm a little bit puffier right now because, COVID, and I've just been sitting eating stuff. I do kind of look like that. Like, let me hit the gym, I'll look like that in about a month or two. So
right, that's how humans look, like
I exist.
Yeah,
thank you.
It works. Yeah, there, and it's fun. I mean, it's something you want to look at.
Absolutely.
I don't want to watch a bunch of guys with dad bods. You know what I mean? Flynn is the main character in this. He's like, he's really fit, super fit. So yeah, it's better that way.
Yeah, I've never understood that, where people are like, so one of the things that I really, really wanted to do, because I'm probably going to move away from Shae Zombie and I'll end up being like Shae the Red or something more Valkyrie-esque to kind of fit with the channel. Nice. But before I do, I really need to do a photo shoot where I'm as a zombie eating a bunch of organs with the tagline, where are her organs? Like, that has to happen. It has to. I have to make that a thing.
Yeah, why not?
Because I think it's hilarious that people get so pissy about it.
They're selective about it too. I mean, it's like it's comics. You can do it however you want. Why would you not do them? You make them beautiful. Make them strong. Make them superhuman. Like, why not?
It's just so ridiculous when people get all pissy about this stuff. So Mistwood Publishing wants to know, when do you go live?
So we're aiming for June 23rd. That's the goal. I understand that there are people that back Downcast too, that are not going to back anything else I do until I fulfill. And so I can tell you, we've got 2 pages left to color. We're working on lettering and the secret history strat. Like, we're doing all these things, wrapping up loose ends. And so my goal is to have that campaign fulfilled right around that same time. If for some reason there is a delay, which can happen with shipping and printing and all that, then I might push back the launch of F.A.T.L. I like to believe, though, that people know that they're going to get their book. I've already done the one campaign and got out to people. And so, and I'm hoping that people would trust me so they won't care either way. But I'm just trying to be sensitive to that. So that's the goal right now, is around June 23rd to launch F.A.T.L. So that's what we're going to aim for. We're going to shoot for that.
That is awesome. And then it is going to be on Indiegogo, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
So the mailing list, for people who have asked, because I know that it is a little bit confusing, we have gotten Clint so early in the process
that he hasn't changed it from the Downcast 2 mailing list. It's the same mailing list. This
Right.
is going for him to collect. So instead of doing his mailing list straight through Indiegogo, he's doing it through his own website. And if you were already on the Downcast mailing list, you are already going to be getting the email for F.A.T.L. If you did not get on that mailing list, please make sure that you give that up and get on there, because the stuff that you can get from the mailing list, Clint really likes to take care of his early supporters and the people that are interested. So make sure that you sign up here, and it will go for F.A.T.L. He is eventually going to change it, like I said. I snagged Clint early because I saw one thing and I went, hey, so you're coming back on Red Valkyrie, right? So I got him. I got him before he was prepared to go. That's how dedicated I am giving you guys the latest info.
Yeah.
And Clint's a friend of the show at this point. Like, we love Clint.
Yeah. I should be a little bit more on top of things. So yeah, I was like, mailing list. Let me see what we have. Oh yeah, it says Downcast too. Yeah, so I might do a pre-launch page as well, but honestly, if you're on the mailing list, it's the same thing. I'm trying to just make things simple for people. So if you're on the mailing list, you're good. I do not spam that mailing list. Like, I only send out emails to let you know when things are launching. So I honestly think it's totally worth it. There's, costs you nothing. It'll get you special offers and a discount on many things. So
see, and that's how you got the Skits team, which is another super amazing team. They are launching on the 4th, so make sure that you are paying attention to Skits comic. That I've been waiting for a very long time. They've been teasing us for, like, it feels like forever. I don't know how long, but it's been a bajillion months. So
nice.
And Kyung Lee says, launching as you're wrapping up fulfillment is a great way to advertise, as he accidentally found out recently.
Yeah, so it can actually be happy timing. So I remember I backed Kyung Lee's campaign. I got it, and then I looked up on Twitter, and it was like, oh, his campaign's launching. It gets it on your mind. So I think that's a really good idea. It could actually be really great timing. That way, if I'm shipping books out, people are getting them, and the campaign is just opening. I think that would be ideal. So I really hope like printing and shipping all like work out. There's so many things that can go wrong, but I hope that it works out okay, and we'll continue on that. We'll hit our deadlines. So
absolutely. Well, and that's exactly what ended up happening with me and Kyung, because I had him on for Battle Maiden Knuckle Bomb 2, and I had just gotten the first one, and I got in demand like last minute, and I had him on, and then right after I was done talking with him, I was like, and backing, okay. I was like, just do this real quick, and it is very good timing to do that way. So if anybody's thinking of that, it's a good idea. I would absolutely do it. I'm 100%. I'm very much an impulse backer.
Yeah.
So if I see something and it looks really good, I'm like, instant, let me go ahead.
Right.
But then I have people like Clint, Kyung, Skits, that I, tug, I follow, and I wait on bated breath for the next thing you guys put out, because I absolutely want whatever you guys produce, because I have no reason to not.
Yeah, I've got creators like that too, that I'm just like, and it's fun. I don't know, with crowdfunding, it's interesting because it's like, you want the book, but you not only that, you want to see that you pushed it over or you made a difference. So that's why I love on day one backing, because it's like this high, like, yeah, I'm gonna make this day one just beat other day ones. I don't know, there's something fun about it.
Yeah. Blue Samurai says, this reminds me of punk underground music. Shae was there when it started, but the rest of us are posers and trendies. It is absolutely not true. I just harass Clint, and he throws art my way to keep me quiet, and then get me really excited and willing to push whatever it is that he's about to put out, because this was what he showed me. He showed it to me in pencils, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. And then I saw him post this online in color, and I almost had a heart attack and was like, you absolutely are coming on. Like I'm not even gonna take no for an answer. Like, I'll come find you. I'll just like sit outside your house and stream. Be like, eventually he has to take the garbage out.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm happy to come on. It's always fun. Yeah, I mean, there's so much more too. I can't, when we have that campaign. Yeah, the goal is I'm going to get the Downcast print file ready this time next week. And hopefully we'll make that happen. I don't want to rush anything, but a lot of it's just, there's nothing to it but to do it kind of stuff. So got to get it done and get it off to the printer. And then it's like, I just have to wait. So then F.A.T.L promotion, I'm switching gears, and we'll just be, I'm going to have that campaign page put together with even more art. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Oh, can't wait. All right. Well, I think that we have we've been talking for an hour, if you can believe it. And we've been talking for an hour with 4 pictures, a pre-launch page that is actually just a mailing list for previous projects.
Yeah.
That is still the same mailing list. So go ahead and put your email in there. You will be on the right mailing list. Clint is going to get on top of it and get that fixed.
Yeah, I wouldn't have killed me to do it like yesterday, but I didn't really think much of it, and I was like, oh yeah, I am promoting it. I should probably, yeah. So I'll remedy that. I'll put together a proper mailing list landing page. But yeah, I'm hooking you up no matter what. If you're on any of my lists, they all go to one master list just to keep it simple. So I'll take care of you.
Well, I am so excited for this. I hope that you guys are too. Thank you, Clint, so much for coming on. It is always such a pleasure.
Appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for having me on. It's great to talk to you, and I love the cosplay too. It's the
thank you.
I know it can be a lot
have
of
a better one.
It looks good. Looks good.
So I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat. If you have not already, please make sure that you are signed up to the mailing list, like, share, and subscribe to Red Valkyrie so you don't miss out on any other great creators. We've got a lot of awesome people coming up. And honestly, you guys are the reason that I'm able to do what I do. You're the reason that Clint does what he does, is because of people like you. So thank you so much for coming out and hanging out with us today. And we will catch you guys all next time. See you later.
Bye, everyone.